I'm Maryanne DeVarti. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Greater Red Bank area. And I wanted to just go over some of the new things you might need to know about voting this year. Because of the pandemic, we have decided here in New Jersey to do a primarily vote by mail ballot. It's important for a few reasons. One, we don't want people standing in line getting sick. And we have to realize that the poll workers are mostly elderly people who are more susceptible to getting sick and having to be there closed in space all day with people coming in.
I didn't think of that. Now it's kind of confusing how we do this mail-in vote.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that, but actually it's kind of easy. Okay, self-explanatory. If you don't vote, you have no voice. This is just showing that younger voters vote far less. The people that vote the most are 60 and above. Expect the older you get, the more important you realize voting is. Over here, it also shows you by race. I'm not real happy about this graph. Just by the terms it uses. It mostly shows that non-Hispanic white votes the most, and then followed by non-Hispanic black, and others, and then finally Hispanic or Latinx. It's so important because things have changed in New Jersey to make things easier for voters, to make sure that every voice can be counted. So our general election, what you would call your presidential election, is on November 3rd, 2020. There's a full slate this year. We have president, vice president, Senate and House of Representatives, freeholders, county clerk, your local officials, mayor, committee, council, whatever you would call them, and your local school board. There's also the questions on the bottom of the ballot, and these are what get people confused for the most part because they're written in legalese, like in legal talk, but they're also written in a way that a regular person can understand them. And I did read up on these, but I can't give you the correct information right now because I don't remember it exactly, and I don't want to give you any misinformation. So we have, if you want to have this, property tax deduction and exemption for peacetime veterans, you'll have the chance to vote yes or no on that. Legalize recreational marijuana, you'll have a chance to vote yes or no on that. And reschedule redistricting if census data is delayed. This basically means that because of the pandemic, census data is not coming in as it should be. It should be done by now, but it had to be delayed because people can't go door to door. And a lot of the people that being counted in the census is so important for don't often have the resources of internet or computers at home
to get their information in. Now, I think I remember you saying something about if you don't fill out the census, you're not counted for. And they say that on the commercial, but that doesn't mean anything to me. So you were saying something like, if I'm from a certain town and I don't fill out the census, then maybe my school will get less money.
Absolutely.
Or my town.
Let's bring it down to, let's make believe easy numbers. There's 100 people in your town or in your district. Say there's 100 people in your district, but only 20 fill in their census. So if only 20 send in your census data, then the government has nothing else to go on than to believe that there are only 20 people in that district, so they will receive the funding they need for 20 people, not 100.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I didn't think of that when they say, when they do the commercial.
Make a plan for voting. It's important. It sounds silly. First you register, then you commit. You tell yourself, I'm going to go before work. I'm going to go on my lunchtime. I'm going to vote by mail. As soon as I get it, I'm going to send it out so it doesn't get lost under all the kids' papers and pictures. And then you're going to vote.
And that's definitely me.
It's definitely me. That's why I can relate to people.
Yes. And that's what happens. People get too busy in their jobs, their schools, their kids' schools, and it gets lost in the sauce.
It comes, you fill it out, you put it right back. It's prepaid. New Jersey paying for the postage for you. If you're a U.S. citizen, you have to be at least 17 years old, but you can't vote until you turn 18. The reason you can register is so that people whose birthdays are close to Election Day will have the chance to already be registered and go right into voting when you're 18.
So if your birthday is like November 1st, then you should be registering before.
The deadline is October 13th.
And
happy birthday.
Yes, my birthday.
October 13th is the deadline for this year, and you need to be 17 years old.
When you register. Then hopefully if you were to turn 18 before.
Like November 1st.
Like November 1st, then you'd be able to vote in that election, which is great.
Okay.
But you got to get the paperwork started.
Okay. And you need to be a resident of the county for 30 days before the election and not serving a prison sentence for a felony. This is new. You can vote if you're on parole or probation, but you need to register, even if you were registered before. So if you committed a felony, you did your time, you paid your price to society, we are no longer going to hold that against you, and we're giving you back your right to vote. Okay? But you have to re-register because you have been taken off the polls, the registration rules. Okay?
That makes sense.
Okay. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can get to find out if you're already registered. I think every place you look, it's all about voting right now. So you can go to Monmouth County Clerk's Office, Monmouth County Vote.
That's the one you were showing me, right?
Yep,
okay.
That's the one.
That's the
that
app.
is app. That is an app.
Okay, that's a cool one. I like that one because it was.
Okay, so here's my phone.
There it is.
That's the app. That'll bring you right up to, am I registered? To check out to see if you are registered. Okay, fill out what they ask, and they'll let you know if you're registered or not. Sometimes things get messed up. Things are getting a little messed up, and we want to make sure that you're registered. You don't want to get to the polls, or we'll talk about that later. You're not going to go to the polls. You don't want to get to put in your vote by mail and then have it denied because you're not registered. You want to make sure that you are registered, okay?
And if there was anything confusing on here, and then you put your name and your first and your last name, and it prompts you to questions, and when you're not sure what you're, something, you can actually screenshot it and then ask somebody who knows. But a lot of the questions, I think they really try to do it for regular people and not try to really make it sound so political, which I like.
And New Jersey is also, if they find a mistake, they're not going to throw it away. They're going to follow up as long as they have some information where they can reach you. If they see a mistake, they're going to proactively reach out to you to try to help you fix it instead of throwing you away, throwing away your voice, which is outstanding. I can't believe
yes, I think
that
that's
a state
very
can do
nice.
that.
That's good, because there are some times we just make a mistake. We didn't check off the right box, or, there's something
Your
simple.
signature doesn't match.
Right.
Don't give you a chance to rectify that.
One was double envelope it or something. So, something little simple rule might throw us off.
Okay. So if you need to register to vote, people aren't going around too much. There are some voter registration drives in colleges and in not in high schools, but around colleges, mostly outdoors. Okay, I personally won't do a voter registration drive in a building right now. I
Right.
am doing my drives outdoors. So on the app, you can register to vote, and it'll ask you to get started, and you're going to certify that the statements are correct, all the things that we went through, New Jersey
Right.
residents, citizens, blah, 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 all that stuff.
And so you check the box and you hit
And-
next and so on. You didn't check
Okay.
the box, that's why I didn't let you. Yeah.
See, I'm not a computer person. Then you fill in stuff,
Yeah.
okay?
That's
There's-
nice.
And even if you are registered to vote and you've moved or you've had a name change, you got married, you got divorced, your name changed, or something happened, God forbid you had a stroke or something, so your signature has changed because you don't have that control anymore, you need to re-register it, and you'll be able to put those reasons right on. They're listed. Reasons why you, person registering for the first time. If you moved, have an address change. You want to follow up if your parents are in a nursing home or assisted living at this point. That's an address change for them. Name change, you got married. You want to update your signature. Sometimes people do it intentionally. They get a fancier signature. Or something medically is
Different, yes,
different.
like-
So, like I said, if God forbid you have a stroke or something like that, that would affect the way you can.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, it'll be different. If you want to change your party affiliation, now in November, it doesn't matter what your party is. You vote for whoever you want. It's flat out whoever you want to vote for. Nobody knows. And you vote for that. If you're Republican, you can vote Democrat. If you're Democrat, you can vote Republican. You can vote half and half. It doesn't matter. You want to put down vote by mail. Okay. And this is also from a year when we didn't have to have the vote by mail. So it was an option at the time. Okay.
Okay.
And it's pretty simple. When I tell kids, I can help them through the top, and then I tell them I don't know your name or where you live, and pretty much that's what you need to do. Also, for a vote by mail, I wish to receive a mail-in ballot for all future elections. Okay, now that's your best bet. And then if you don't want to do vote by mail anymore, this year is different, so don't count this year. This year you're going to do it anyway. But this is for in the future. When you don't want to do it anymore, you write them a letter to the clerk's office. They take you right off of it. Now, down here, something new. It's mail my ballot to the following address, which is different from the first address, which is college kids. So they're not going to be a resident of North Carolina if they're going down to school there. They're still a resident of New Jersey, most likely. So they'll list their address. But what good is it if the ballot goes to the New Jersey address when you're in North Carolina? So that's the different address change there. Okay? Sign it. Put a piece of tape on it. And it is postage paid.
Okay,
Okay?
that sounds good.
Yeah. New Jersey has it pretty good.
I like that they follow up if I did something wrong, that they'll contact me. I like that idea.
But also be proactive and make sure things have gotten there.
How do you do that? Could you do that through that
You
app
can
that
call-
you showed?
You can do that. You can call the Board of Elections, and that's in Freehold. And I can give you that number, or we can do that at the end.
We could do that at the end.
Okay. If you're going to go online, the way we talked about it, you need your driver's license or your DMV, or what they call Motor Vehicle Commission now, non-driver ID. And all the information will go through the motor vehicles. to prove that you are who you are, because they have that information. Or if you use your social security number, the last four, only the last 4 digits, and you can sign it on the screen. I know I did it with the iPhone. I think it works with the iPhone. I'm not sure if it works with anything else. I think I was trained that it works just with the iPhone.
So you were able to actually sign for it
Sign right on your phone.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Most people have iPhones. Some people don't, but.
Okay. How do you get a paper voter registration application? You can go right to the site.
I posted that. That was the one that we just looked at, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
You can go down here, right here.
Oh, right there. Cool. Okay.
And
There's a link.
you can also print it off of the app that you're going to put on your phone, because everything you need to know for this election is going to be on that app that I just showed you. Important dates and everything. Oh, and this is really cool.
Text for help, so you don't have to talk to somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty good, because some people, either they're in a loud situation or they're in a place where they can't talk. They are in a quiet situation. That's pretty cool.
Yep. The League of
like
Women
that.
Voters will also send you a reminder if you ask them to send you a reminder by text to remind you, hey, it's the day.
To go vote.
Yep. Wake up.
Yeah,
go vote.
exactly.
Okay. And again, most libraries this year, because the League of Women Voters is working with libraries. So I know for a fact that forms are at the libraries, because that's where I did a voter registration drive. And they have a whole bunch of information there for you.
There you go.
You might not be able to work interactively with this, although it does work, but because you're seeing things from a slideshow, it might not work for you. But just get in touch with the League of Women Voters. The only reason the League of Women Voters exists is to help you vote, make things easier for you. You don't have to do this. It's optional. You can say that you want to be affiliated with the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Independent Party. Don't think that independent means the same as unaffiliated. Independent is a party. Unaffiliated means you're not attached to any party.
I did not know that.
Okay?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Okay, so there's a difference. So if you put down independent, that might be great for you. But when the primary comes, there is no independent primary, so you don't vote in that primary. If you put down Democrat, you can only vote in a Democratic primary. If you put down Republican, you can only vote in a Republican primary. However, in November, no matter what you put down, Republican, Democrat, Independent, anything, Green Party, anything, you can vote for whoever you want. Once you're voting in a general election, you're not tied to a party. You vote your conscience. You vote who you want to vote. Okay? Sign it, date it, and like I showed you, just fold it up, tape it, postage paid. It's good. The deadline is October 13th this year, but get it done as soon as possible, because we've got the post office people are working on overload, and the elections people are working on overload, and just try to put yourself in their shoes and understand why getting things in early would help them not get slammed.
So this actually helps them when we do this. Okay,
The
before
sooner
the
you
13th.
do it,
Okay,
absolutely.
13th. All right.
Everything this year, the sooner you do it, the nicer a person you are, because you're helping out the people on the other side.
Okay. Didn't think of that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when you commit, it was like I was saying, make a plan. Fill out the vote by mail We're going to take them to the drop box.
Now, commit, was that the one that we were saying that don't put it, once you register, don't put it in the mail, put it in your kids' school stuff and lose it? And
Yeah.
Is that the one you were saying about
once you
that?
get your ballot in the mail, immediately fill it out and put it in the mailbox.
Okay.
Because if you say, I'll do it tomorrow, it's going to
happen.
end up in your kid's lunchbox and your
other junk mail and other bills that
It'll
have to pay.
be recycled.
Right.
And you lose your vote. You lose your vote on that one. Okay?
So commit.
And
then
you're going to decide, are you going to vote by mail? Are you going to use a drop box? Are you going to take it by hand and bring it to 300 Halls Mills Lane Road in Freehold and hand it in personally to the Board of Elections, which is what I do.
I did that too because it's right by my house.
And there's some people who are insisting on bringing it to their polling place because they like that tradition. So you would fill out your voter registration, you would fill out your vote by mail ballot, and then you still wait in line, possibly get sick or get somebody else sick, and hand it to the poll worker. Again, another person having contact with that older person. Not a good idea, but you're allowed to do that. And if you're really, 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 really insistent on voting at the polls, know that you cannot use the machine. That's only for disabled people who are unable to write out a form, fill out a form. You can use a provisional ballot. Make sure you do that. Make sure you follow the directions that are given to you. In New Jersey, every ballot is counted. Provisionals are counted. Vote by mail is counted. Everything is counted. Whether the election is a close one or a tight one, every vote is counted in New Jersey, which is really different from other states. Okay. No excuses. Well, I'm kind of thinking if it's a crazy time, that might be the time you need to vote the most. Okay, it doesn't matter who's elected. They all act the same once they are in office. If that's how you believe, then you have to decide which one will act the least worse. That's a real thing.
Right.
Pick the one that's going to work for you the best.
Yes.
Okay. My vote is largely symbolic because of the Electoral College, and I live in a blue state. You know what? That one I can understand why people say that.
What's a blue state?
A blue state. A blue state is a Democratic state, and a red state would be a Republican state. It's not that those states are red or blue. It's just that the population mainly votes Democratic in a blue state like New Jersey and red in a red state like Texas. However, you vote because you can provide a landslide or more distance between the opponents in a popular vote.
What?
Okay. There's the Electoral College, which to get into political science, just
Layman's terms.
The Electoral College is kind of balances out. So New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, the bigger cities, Chicago, they have a larger population, so they have more votes. And cities tend to vote more Democratic. So what happens, and this is in the Constitution, so it's nothing new. The Electoral College gives Rhode Island and Texas, it kind of evens out the deal for them. Okay? So they don't have the same number of electors. There are electors that go to actually vote. Once election day is over, it's not really a done deal until it's confirmed in the state house of whatever state you're in. Those electors go to the state house in Trenton, and they vote on behalf of
what we voted.
Right.
Okay.
However, they don't have to. They can trick you. They can vote for the other guy. And it's been done. And
hopefully it's not done.
Hopefully it's not being done.
It's not done. I thought you meant that a blue state, blue state and red state, okay, Democrat and, Republican. I thought a blue state is mostly people vote Democrat, so most likely it'll win Democrat, so people won't bother voting because it's going to be Democrat, which they should vote.
But vote anyway, so that
right
the popular vote,
or vice versa.
Up.
If it's a red state and you want to, but it's a red state, we're just going to win, and I'm not worried about voting because I don't need to vote my red. Then you still should because just
to get up that popular vote to make any close call on the electoral college,
which the way you want.
The popular wouldn't mind having a larger margin in the popular vote. My faith in the system and fairness in voting is utterly crushed. I feel your pain. I understand how you feel. And it's hard even for me, and I understand why you feel that way. And I have to keep telling myself, this is America. This is what we do. We have free and fair elections. And if you feel that bad about things, then just imagine that things can only go up from here. Let's just hope that. Okay, so you're going to make your plan. Everything I just told you. Wow, I'm ahead of the game. I've also read this. So, how are you going to vote? And how will I know who and what to vote for? Mail-in ballots not been returned. They need to know where to send it. Yeah. That's the problem. If you were at one address and you didn't update your address, then they don't know where to send your ballot. So that's why it's so important to check if you're registered. Each town will have at least one in-person polling place with a voting machine reserved for voters with disabilities. I know a lot of people want to use their voting machines because they've done it since they're 18 and it's a tradition and it makes me what I am and I'm an American. Those old people have to go in after every single voter and disinfect that machine because people will be touching it.
Yeah.
So what used to take you 5 minutes is going to take you a half hour, and multiply that by everybody else who is in line behind you. Because after everyone votes, that old person has to go in there and disinfect the machine. Okay? It's going to only back things up.
And it's not that people are being mean, they just don't think about that.
Right.
I just don't, that doesn't come to mind when I'm going to vote. Yeah.
Always try to think about what's in the whole team here that's making an election happen.
Right.
Okay? And if you really want to go and vote and at the polling place, you will use a paper provisional ballot. These are done off to the side. The poll worker has to put them in a special envelope, and they are put in a bag and sealed. And then they are, at the end of the night, brought right to the Board of Elections. Vote411.com. Okay. Now, if the candidates really want to be elected, they will have answered our questions on Vote 411. Vote 411 is giving a candidate a chance to talk about themselves, tell you what they feel and what their platforms are and where they stand on things.
Okay. So I would call Vote 411 and I can ask either president what question I want. Not that I'm talking to the actual president or the actual person running.
They will have already answered questions that were presented to them. And they'll tell about themselves. I have a PhD in this, and I work here.
So I get to hear about them, which is good because I'd like to hear about both of them.
Okay. And you'll click on whatever town you're in, and that will give you the candidates.
I like to hear that you're able to hear from both of them.
Vote. This is great. This is important. This is really important. I'm 61 years old. When I get a vote by mail ballot, which I use because I work the polls, I get nervous every time. Because I read every single word on it because it's so important. You'll receive this in the mail. It contains your ballot and 2 envelopes. Fill in the circles on the ballot to mark your choices. Okay, blue or black pen, nothing else. Just like you would vote on any other thing, okay? Okay, you put your ballot in the smaller envelope. Do not detach or damage the flap. That flap has to be intact in order for your vote to count, okay? Do not take that off.
What is the flap thing? Like the
It's-
serrated
it's-
edge that you can rip off easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's what I'm
don't.
talking about. Don't
Let's
take
go
it
back
off.
to you for a second.
Don't take it
Don't
off.
take that. Now that is the secret envelope. It's called a secret envelope. That is where your secret ballot is put in this secret envelope. And that's why it's so important that that flap is not damaged or detached, okay? That's what makes it valid. And then you put that secret envelope inside of the larger envelope and sign it. There's stuff on the outside that you need to sign. Okay? Oh, I jumped ahead a step. Okay? New Jersey has even given you the stamp on this one. So
Excellent.
how great.
Okay.
So you don't have an excuse that I couldn't find a stamp.
Because that could be an excuse. I mean,
People
you put it aside in your car, and then it's, other paperwork gets thrown on it, and you lose it. That's why it's nice that it's already done
boom,
for
boom,
you.
boom. You could do it, and you can do it with your kids. If you want your kids to understand about their civic responsibilities, this is your opportunity to sit them down at the table and say, "Let's talk about this. This is who's running. This is who's running. Mom's going to vote for this person because this is how I feel." They may disagree with you. You don't have to give them dinner. Okay? Okay. So this is how you can cast your vote. The secure drop box. These boxes are secured by surveillance cameras 24/7. And there'll be 17 drop boxes in Monmouth County. And Suzanne has the list of those. So at the end, you can just
take a picture of it and post
Right.
it. I could do that.
Okay, those just came out.
Depending on what town you're from.
Yes. And you can also go to the Board of Elections website. Vote early to avoid any problems.
Mail it in early. Okay. So
Remember those poor postal workers who are going to be working so hard.
So is this like getting, like when you do your taxes, like as long as it's postmarked for November 3rd?
Yes.
Okay. But you want to get it before that date.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of get things
So
flowing.
that nothing gets all scrambled. There's no arguments on things that don't have to be argued about. If they're sending it to you a month early, drop your ballot in the mailbox or bring it to the post office. Okay? Now you're involving the United States Postal Service, and that's where there could be a backlog because of some actions that were taken in the past to slow down the post office. Okay, here's what you're talking about. Postmarked by November 3rd and received by 8 o'clock on November 10th. That's given the post office a week to get it there. But it has to be at the post office and marked by the 3rd. If you're late after the 3rd, it's not going to count. So don't even think about it. Okay? Ballots with no postmark due to postal error are valid if received by November 5th. So they're going to, again, give the voter the benefit of the doubt. New Jersey. Unbelievable. But vote early in case there's a problem so you have time to fix it. Bring only your own mail-in ballot to your designated polling place and hand it directly to a poll worker. Okay? So all your polling places, all your normal polling places will not be open most likely. You need to know where you're going to go. And there would be a long line. Just because you have it filled out doesn't mean that you can skip ahead. You still have to stand in line with a ballot that could have been in the mail weeks ago. Register. Okay, online forms. We've gone through that. And you can, there's not a place that you can't find on the internet to find a place to register to vote. Commit, make a plan. How are you going to do it? It's important because if you tell yourself that plan, you're more likely to remember it and have that in your routine for when you're going to do it.
I actually have to write it on my calendar. I really do. Like, make sure today's day I'm going to fill it out. Then tomorrow's the day I'm going to actually, drop it off in the Dropbox or mail it. So I have to actually write that in my calendar or else I'll forget.
Put it on your calendar with a reminder, like an event reminder.
Right. Like
1 day before and then an hour before. That's my normal thing. Then vote. Do it. Just do it. No excuse. No excuse not to vote. We see how important a vote is, how important democracy is. The United States is a lucky place to be able to have its people be able to vote for its leaders. Make sure you have everything run smoothly. Do all these steps as early as possible. We keep saying early to fix any mistakes for you, to avoid undue pressure on the Postal Service, possible cause of harm,
undue exposure, kind of,
to
the poll
workers.
Yeah, because they have to clean everything and sit there.
So what's next? Help others. Oh, check to make sure your friends and family are registered to vote. That's always a good thing because you always thought, oh, my nephew, he's registered to vote.
They may
what?
Not be.
Are you kidding me? You're 32 years old and you're not registered? And you argue politics with me all the time? I'm not listening anymore. You don't count. Okay. And help them to register to vote. It's easy. If grandma moved into an assisted living and she can't use the computer, register to vote. And then you can also help her when it comes time to filling out her mail-in ballot. You just sign that she was assisted and who you are, and everything's legal. Okay. As soon as the ballot arrives in the mail, read it carefully, plan your vote. Okay, make sure it gets, let's see, if the ballot doesn't arrive by October 13th, call the clerk's office. Yeah. I was making some phone calls.
That's nice that they give you the number.
Yeah. Because I'm waiting. We should be getting ours on October 5th. Ours should be out. They're coming out.
In Ocean, not Ocean County, Ocean Township, he said that he already got his.
And some in Middlesex have got theirs.
Okay, yeah, so I gotta check in the mail. I got something.
Just keep your eyes open for it. Don't throw it away. Don't think it's junk mail. It is your actual ballot. They're not sending out sample ballots this year because the money has been spent on the postage paid
instead of.
Okay. So if you want to see a sample ballot, that's on the app that I showed you. Okay. So don't think you're getting a sample ballot. No, that's the real one. Okay. By the end of October, make sure your friends and family have voted. Again, withholding food from your family to make sure that they have registered and voted works best. If you offer your assistance as a bearer, make sure you sign the form. And deadline to submit ballot Dropbox, polling place, or Board of Elections office. After November 3rd, you'll be notified automatically by mail if your ballot is rejected with instructions on how to fix the problem. Outstanding. I don't know of any other state that would go out of its way to make sure that your vote and your voice is heard.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay?
I like that.
Because they're going to assume that they made a mistake or somewhere along the line there was a mistake because of all the confusion this year. And they're not going to penalize you if somebody else made a mistake. They're going to give you a chance to fix it. Take the chance, don't take the chance. If you don't take the chance to fix it, then you lose your voice. Again, check out these sites if you have any questions. This is really good. I use that all the time. I call the Board of Elections in Halls Mills Road, and I'll give you that phone number I call them all the time. They are the busiest, yet the nicest people you're ever going to meet. Okay.
Oh, it is a 431 number. I think it was on it there. I think it was on one of the things.
Yeah. But, you know, I had to prepare myself a little.
Very good.
Okay. They are outstanding, very nice people. And don't get mad no matter how many times you ask them the same question. Sue?
All right. Anything else to say?
Just get out there. No matter what you're feeling, you have that right to feel it. You have that right to express it peacefully. And no matter how you express it, it doesn't count unless you voted.
True.
Because you can talk.
Yeah.
But if you don't vote, then nothing's going to happen.
Just like that second slide.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.